I remember back in 2010 having this conversation with this Marine. Now, at the time, he actually joined drill instructor school. I believe it was July of 2010. And me and him used to just speak on the phone all the time. And he would just tell me about how drill instructor school was treating him and all the things that he would have to do and things that he was struggling with. And for those of you guys that were drill instructors, oh, you know all the struggles about it. But before I get through to the story, you guys do me a huge favor. I've been getting so much support on my videos lately. Please continue to rock these videos. Thumbs up it, like, share, comment, all that good stuff. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. And without further ado, let's keep it going. So like I said, I remember he was in drill instructor school and he would tell me about all the things that he was struggling with, things that he had to deal with in order to just get through the school. Teach backs, staying up late, having to accomplish these like random tasks like go find a binder in the middle of the night. Late night / early morning field days until like 3, 4 in the morning. You know, all the regular stuff. I remember he used to tell me how good he was at drill and how comfortable he felt performing all the drill manual stuff with the rifle as well, unit leader stuff. Just kind of felt in a zone, you know, from calling cadence to just controlling the platoon as he marched. I remember something that he told me that he struggled with was staying awake and being able to concentrate through fatigue with some of the tasks that they had you do in drill instructor school. He also told me one of the greatest accomplishments at that point in his life that he experienced was graduating drill instructor school and being able to don the drill instructor cover. Fast forward, I remember he told me he graduated drill instructor school and moved on to his first cycle. Now, during that first cycle, just like a lot of other people, you find yourself with swollen feet, falling asleep while standing, falling asleep while in drive-thrus. Yes, drive-through. I remember being at air barriers a couple of times, or at the stoplight, and it's at red. It finally turns green, and you're just like, extreme bags under your eyes, toenails falling off. Oh yeah, it gets pretty gruesome. I remember him telling me from his first cycle that he experienced spitting up blood constantly. You know, because you got to scream and yell so much. And sometimes you really just don't have it, but you're expected to kind of push it out to where you're able to get some type of volume from deep within. But sometimes that puts a lot of strain on your vocal cords and your voice box. Fast forward some more, he did a few more cycles as a green belt. Then after his 4th cycle or so, he went on quota. They sent him to quota. He was absolutely devastated. I believe he went to receiving company. Something that most drill instructors say they never want to do is get sent on quota because they just want to continue to push cycles and train recruits. I can see that. So I remember that he told me in 2012, he was brought back from quota to his company. I would say about a week or 2 after he was notified that he was returning to his company, he began training and getting ready to perform in that new billet. Now, for those of you guys that were drill instructors, you understand there's certain things you just can't avoid, or it's very difficult to kind of maneuver around and avoid while you're actually on the drill field. Lack of sleep? Yeah, right. That's going to be like that all the time. Going home? It's going to hit or miss. Eating? Depends on how good your team is. And being able to find time to get work done throughout the day as opposed to after lights, once again, depends on how good your team is. For those of you that had a good team that allowed these things to happen, let me know in the comment section down below. What year did you go on the drill field? Like what year were you a drill instructor? What company? What coast? Just put all the information in the comment section down below. All right. So here we are. I remember hearing this story as if it was just yesterday. I remember him telling me about how excited he was to go back to his company. And here we are, day 1 of returning to his company from quota. I remember when he called me that night, he told me about how he felt there was something off with his voice. Like he was screaming so hard that he felt like his voice kind of like tense up on the inside and he had to take a break away from it. But he was also in a billet that required him to constantly have to be the one in front of the platoon talking. So it was really hard for him to rest during pickup week. And for those of you, once again, you know there ain't much rest during pickup week. You just got to deal with it. No one cares if your voice goes out, spitting up blood. No one cares about any of that. You are there to work. And that's what you're going to do. Cool. He was all about that. Matter of fact, he was so excited to come back that he kind of pushed all those symptoms and that pain to the side, like, I'm ready to train, baby. So the next day, he goes back out there, continues to run the deck like nothing happened. And I believe he said it was, I can't remember if he said it was linen or just early chow. And regardless whether it's linen day or early chow, you got to keep them, you got to get the recruits moving, especially in the beginning where you got to teach all the linen procedures. You're still teaching Firewatch. You're still teaching in-house. And now you got to get everybody out the rack, get them hygiene, get them dressed, and get them to chow in like 10 minutes. So I remember him telling me as he was calling the commands, he felt that same feeling he felt on day one where just something was just not right. And, you know, I remember having this conversation with him. I just remember how devastated he was just to have this conversation, just to even be able to get these words out. And he was just saying that it felt like something was off, and any minute it's just going to give out. He just knew it was going to give out. But the thing about it, if you were a drill instructor, everyone experienced being hoarse, sore throat. I'm not sure if everybody experienced spitting up blood, but I tend to notice that it happened a lot in the company where I was at. It just depends on how hard you're pushing yourself. So here we go. Next day, day 3, had another conversation with him. And this time, it got even worse from the first 2 days. But once again, you don't have much of an option. You got to put out, especially on a special duty. So there he is again. I remember him telling me how he was at the front of the quarterdeck, calling commands. And probably within the first, I think he said the first 10 minutes or so, something inside of his neck twisted as he was screaming and felt it pull and just like pop away. And I remember him telling me that he froze. He couldn't move at that point because he didn't know what happened, but he knew something drastic happened, but it was so hard to explain because he had never experienced anything like that before. So he told me that his senior drill instructor came over and tried to figure out what was going on. Like, hey, what's going on, man? What are you doing? Let's go get the recruits out. And I remember him telling me, like, he told his senior, hey, he's like, what? He's like, drill instructor, get in the duty hut. I remember him telling me how he was trying to explain, but nothing would come out. Had he done more damage to his voice from the previous 2 days before? Was it too late for his voice to be able to heal and recover from that situation? So I remember him telling me that day he actually went to medical. I think he went to the Naval Hospital, and they did an examination. He told him everything. Oh, I'm spitting up blood. This is what happened. You know, I felt something twist, like kind of pull and like with a little bit of a popping noise. And then he said he couldn't get anything out for a few days. It was just air. Like, every time you try to do it. And you would think it's something typical because when you lose your voice, that's kind of what it sounds like. They end up scoping his I forgot what they call it, but they end up scoping his throat and down the neck. And they noticed that there was a tear on the vocal cords, but there was also nodules from the vocal cord tearing and trying to heal itself, almost like scar tissue. He was told that even though there was a tear, there really wasn't much they can do about it at that point. I think mainly because a lot of the nodules that were around, I think they were waiting to see if they would go away before trying to actually fix the vocal cords. And I'm sure you can imagine what happened after that. Directly after that, you're going back on quota. Boy, was he devastated. Right back to receiving company. And you know, when you leave an area, you're talking all type of crap. I ain't coming back. Man, forget all y'all. I'm moving on to bigger and better things. Y'all are stuck here in quota. You're garbage. You're trash. You know, I'm going back where the real Marines are, the real drill instructors are at, in the company. Little did he know he was getting sent right back to the receiving company. So, of course, I was really close to this Marine. We kept in touch over the years. And I would ask him periodically, what is the update on your voice? What's going on? Are you going to have the surgery? Da, da, da. And he told me that he had gone in there to get scoped again. It was inconclusive. So then they finally sent him in again. And they noticed that there were still nodules that were on there. But from what they looked at, they didn't see it as too big of an issue. Now, this Marine was telling me, over the years, although they didn't find too much on his voice or on his vocal cords, that he was struggling for speech. Like sometimes he couldn't get any words out. He was still spitting up blood. The amount of effort required in order to just have a conversational tone was very difficult. And being able to use his diaphragm at times was difficult because his actual voice from just using his throat kind of kicked into overdrive before he could actually use his diaphragm. So I asked him, what's next? What's going on? What's going on next? What is the most latest thing that you need to do with it? He goes, honestly, I haven't been checking up on it. I just kind of been busy, things going on. There's just so many things that are happening. I'm trying to get back, I'm trying to get my tasks done. I'm trying to take care of X, Y, and Z, and I got a family. So I told him, you need to go back to medical. If nothing else, you need to get it documented because you didn't do a good job at documenting before, especially if they were saying inconclusive or they didn't find what you thought they were going to find on that scope. So here it is, pretty close to 13 years later. He finally goes back to medical. Finally gets an appointment, finds the right doctor to do it, and he was told there was visible damage to one of his vocal cords. But not only that, but he was told there was some type of cyst that was actually growing and connected to both of his vocal cords. Now, this isn't something that had been seen on the scans before. This is something that developed over time, he said. So after his most recent examination, he was told that it was going to require surgery. And by the looks of it, there were veins that are coming from the vocal cords into the actual cyst. So it looked like that cyst was actually a living organism, possibly, and that it may possibly be cancerous. Now, before I tell you who this Marine is, every single drill instructor, before you go down to the depot, if you can, during the depot, maybe about halfway through, and after you leave the depot, every single one of you that have any type of scraggly sounding voice, which all of you should if you put out, needs to get scoped and make sure your vocal cords and your vocal box are all intact. Well, in case you haven't guessed, that Marine's name is retired Gunnery Sergeant Chris Levine. Yep, that's me. I have fought and struggled with my voice like this. This is actually some of the best I've ever sounded in about pretty close to 15 years. I joined DI school in 2010, and I left the depot in 2014. I couldn't tell you the amount of times I've spit up blood, and I don't mean just like little spots. I'm talking about spit up blood, like enough. How many times I've pushed and overstrained my voice when I had nothing left, and continued to do it because that is what I was told to do. I was told to keep pushing, that plenty of people have that issue, that, oh, you're good, dog. Hey, don't worry about it. You're good, dog. Hey, you're good. No, I wasn't. And you may not be. Don't let someone else pressure you to go back to training or to not go to medical because they think you're good. They don't get paid to be goddamn doctors. You're not a goddamn doctor. You're a damn drill instructor or a chief drill or whatever your ability is. You're not a freaking medical. So now, tomorrow's the big day. Tomorrow, I get to go get cut open. And there may be something that could have been prevented had I got checked out a little bit more often to make sure nothing else was developing, to make sure the symptoms weren't getting worse. And guess what they get to do? They're going to go biopsy the cyst that is here. This big old cyst that's sitting right on my vocal cords. Now there's a possibility that tomorrow, I don't know if I'll get the results tomorrow, but tomorrow when I go in, that they may be cutting something cancerous, and I don't know if it's going to be back or not. So I say that to say this. This is a long video, so I apologize, but at the same time, I don't. Take care of yourself. If you're a drill instructor, go get scoped and get looked at, and don't take no for an answer. You need to get looked at. You need it. You have an entire life after you graduate DI school, after you get out of the military. You have a whole life ahead of you. A whole life. What do you want the quality of your life to be when you get out? You want a higher quality of life, be able to walk because you took care of your injuries, did physical therapy, be able to talk so you don't sound like this? What do you want? Take care of yourself. Go get checked out. Continue to go to medical till you get the answer you're looking for. And take care of your health. There's no excuses. I don't care who tells you. You need to go get seen. If this message only reaches one person and they decide to do it, I did my job. Do not end up like me. Don't try to be that tough drill instructor. Don't. Go get checked out and take your dumbass to medical so you don't have to have a surgery after you retire on something that happened 15 years ago. Do you understand it? Don't freaking do it. Go get checked out. Everybody wants to be tough. Hey, dog, go back to work. Hey, dog, stop being sweet to the recruits. Hey, dog, open your mouth. Da, 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 da. Eyeballs.